Well, welcome back to the Energy Sovereignty Project, and we're doing a little update here for our Prologue discussion series. And we're here with Darren and Jared from Sunworks. These are the guys that actually designed the systems after you decided, that you want to go with solar. Then these are the guys that will take a look at your roof and tell you where you need to stick it. So just off the top, before I kind of start us off, what were some of your thoughts about some nitwit trying to install 6 batteries?
Well, at first it was like 6. No one's ever tried to do 6, and they had limitations on how many can be installed. So we started looking into that. I really didn't get into it. Just knew that hey, someone's gonna go a little over beyond, push the limits. There's always someone pushing the limits.
Well, sure.
So I was like, okay.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah,
exactly. So, and so then obviously one of the first issues that we ran into, we expected that we would have more of an issue with either the utility company or, someone in the approval process, permitting or whatnot. And all of that really went through really smooth for us, but our issue then wound up being the battery availability, which really we kind of stubbed our toe on. And unfortunately, the communications isn't that great between Tesla and you guys. There's room for improvement there, and even room for improvement, even just between the consumer and the installers. And so that led to a little bit of a misconception on my part about how the batteries were allocated. And so I initially thought that the batteries were allocated through line item, so that when you would order them, then Tesla would be on the hook for providing that per and a specific order. And that's actually not the way that things happen. You guys are telling me, so it's more of an allocation basis.
Yes.
Yeah. So like an automobile dealership where you guys sold so many last year, so then they're going to give you so many this coming year. Is that basically?
That's very, very accurate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Chunks. So let's say you get so many, and they'll send us X amount on a certain day.
Okay.
And then we look for the next release date,
mm-hmm.
and they'll send us more.
Are they looking at? Are they not to press anything that you can't answer, but are they looking at allocating that on like a quarterly basis, semi-annually, annually?
I think it goes off their supply.
Their supply.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many they have, and looking at who needs to get them.
Right.
And they allocate it accordingly.
Right. Well, hopefully we can get you guys a lot of orders and get you guys up on the priority list. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, the more that we'll have.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll promote more nitwits putting in, but it's a good-looking unit. Obviously that part of it's nothing new. A lot of folks have seen these units before from other videos. But what I'd kind of like you guys to address just a little bit is any restrictions as far as code and where they can be installed. Because now, if the folks are following along, you've seen our plan. What we're going to do is we're actually going to put them side by side, right up against the wall, as you saw in one of the previous videos. I'll put a screenshot of that here. And so they're all going to go along this wall. You had mentioned something about a window. Sometimes they won't. There might be some restriction for installing one right below the window.
Yeah, right below the window. There may be a restriction with code to keep it away for safety reasons. People can get out. So we may have to avoid that window.
We'll follow that up.
We're going to space it a little bit anyway, so that might be okay to just space right there where the window is. But you can do side by side and sections.
And is there a minimum from, if you put like we have, where we have 2 Powerwalls and then another 2 Powerwalls, is there some kind of a minimum that you might judge for, 6 inches, 8 inches?
As far as putting them like that, I don't know.
As far as like from distance here to here?
Well, yeah, this will be the next one,
yeah. Good 8 inches or so is
okay.
Definitely.
And that one's mostly for ventilation. To make sure that they
you want them to be able to breathe. And then you can actually stack, them on top of each other. There's a special mounting.
And we're doing that, obviously.
Definitely.
So we're going to do them in 3 banks of 2 there. So
that way they don't stick out too far either.
But no other real code things. I mean, they can go right up next to the house, and even that's you were saying that they just come with a bracket. That's how they're designed to be.
And then you can sit them on the stack them on the floor, but they still need to be mounted to the wall.
Okay.
But you can basically set them directly on the ground. But they still need to have that mounting bracket all on the back.
It's great that Tesla actually took that into account, with rain and whatnot, that they did design it, indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, it's rated for indoor, outdoor.
Yeah. Most of the plans that you guys have seen, are these installed on the outside of the home or inside?
I've gotten both.
Yeah, definitely both.
And most of it was preference. If they were afraid that the weather, they wanted to put it inside. Some of them didn't have space inside.
Sure.
Because they have shelves and everything.
And some of them have some components on the inside and some components on the outside.
Sure.
So they may have the Powerwall and the distribution panel.
That's interesting to know.
Right.
In the garage, and then they may have, the backup gateway outside.
Cool.
Or vice versa.
Right.
It's really, you can kind of plug and play and move stuff around.
We had thought,
depending on the house.
Exactly, and the location. Because we had thought too that some people might actually, as this becomes ubiquitous, it's going to be not just, gated groomed communities that have these things.
Yeah.
They're going to be everywhere, and so then someone might think, it's safer in my garage than outside, where somebody could mess with it. Or
a lot of it too is just looking at the space. Most people don't have the wall space that you have. So we're kind of looking at where can it fit. Fit here, if they have the 3 feet or so to fit there, or they have to do it outside.
Right.
Like I say, most of the houses that are developed, they put shelves in or cabinets.
Sure.
Or they don't want it because their car, they're afraid it's going to stick out too far because of the car.
Sure.
But it doesn't go out past your garage line.
We may very quickly start seeing homes, I suppose, that are designed with utility sheds and stuff exactly for these types of things.
I've done one with utility
shed. Yeah.
But it has to have how did they do it? I remember we made a little shed, but we had to keep it open for the ventilation.
Sure.
So it wasn't fully sealed.
Yeah.
But we made a little stand-up shed and put 2 of them in it.
And it's not like the industry's never done this before. This is done all the time. So, so that's cool. And so we'll follow along as we do the project, and we'll obviously let folks know, if any odd code concerns come, because you never know what the inspector winds up saying too. And so we'll keep you guys all informed about that. And so then, obviously moving down, we're going to be setting up vehicle charging to be done as well. We're going to closely monitor the amount of charge that we put on the vehicles from the battery to make sure that we give a good real-world treatment to how folks can actually see what this battery storage does. And we're going to try and equate that mile for mile to the payback, not just from the electricity, but per the gallon of gasoline. Gasoline is $3 a gallon, right? So when you start calculating the payback of that per day, you're into some serious money. And so that's obviously pretty cool. And so then this last part here, boys and girls, this has also given not only us a good deal of headache, but also folks in other countries that we've been following along. So now this is that gateway you were telling me about. And so the gateway is interesting because you were saying that that's one of the limiting factors for how many Powerwalls you can hook up?
Currently, we can't go over the 200 amps. They're making supposedly in the works of making a 400 amp gateway, so that would limit how many you could put in.
Right. And so this will currently just run the 4 or barely run the 6, or how are we? Where are we standing?
Currently, we're at a confirmed 4.
Okay.
With your solar system and the 4 batteries, this one will work.
Okay.
Yes.
And so then we're waiting on Tesla to upgrade that, and then we'll hook up the additional 2. Is that how that?
Yeah. So we're gonna try to run it as a 2 system, use 2 backup, 2
gateways. Okay. So that is still one of those things.
There's a couple different options on
there. And with that particular situation, that's where we get into what we were speaking about earlier about the panel.
Right, with the back
feed,
which that's just we're talking just the battery system itself being able to handle it. We still have to deal with tying into the utility.
Yeah.
Right, right. So what they're talking about with the backfeed is basically a balance between how much your home is able to produce and how much that grid tie is actually able to pass. Would that be an accurate way of kind of stating that? And so the two have to be matched. If you put in 10 Powerwalls and 20 kilowatts of storage, right? The utility company is going to wonder what the hell you're doing, and so then obviously they're going to need to figure out some way of figuring out where that energy is going to go. And we are not to the point legally where we're able to allow a homeowner to self-produce and self-contain. The utility company is always going to say, oh, eventually that power is going to go somewhere. That's basically they're standing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm not sure if that's exactly, but yeah, utility companies, we're not dealing. I don't deal with them directly so much. So I don't know.
Yeah. I think what's pretty clear is with most emerging technologies is that it takes the laws and regulations time to catch up to what people are actually doing.
A lot of times.
Yeah. And I think that's also a major. Yeah, that's also a major reason of why we're doing this, to point out, where maybe some of those shortfalls occur, right?
Get out in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. To get them kind of thinking about ways that people are actually going to start using this as they want to restrict the amount of power that they're drawing from the grid. So I think people are. I'm hoping, if this all works, maybe this is all just going to be a complete failure. I don't think so. But yeah, I'm hoping to see, be able to actually show how drastic that reduction can really be. So did you want to take us around the back and just kind of show us real quick about the panel layout and stuff on the back? Okay, cool. Good right there, I think. It's yeah. I don't know that we necessarily need to open it up, but I suppose we can if we want to show them. But to start off with, let's talk just briefly for folks who don't know how this works. The way that net metering is set up, if that's how it's done in your district, the way net metering is done up is you have a solar side and then you have a utility side, and they both only count up. Well, I guess the utility didn't like the fact that on some of those early meters, when first the early adopters started setting up solar, that it would actually spin the meter backwards. That was a little annoying to the utility companies, I think, because there's then that eliminates their ability to do things like time of use and all of that, because it is really a subtraction. So they changed it to meters that only count up. And so now what they do is they simply subtract what you made on your solar from what you've used from the grid. Well, I suppose that works great until they then start to talk about time of use and all of this, and it gets a little confusing. So from that standpoint here, when we tie in, can you talk a little bit about how and where we wind up tying the gateway and everything into this system as it stands?
For the solar?
Yeah, for the...
So yeah, when we move all the loads to the new backup and generation panel, we'll move the solar as well, and the solar will have its own individual CTs to monitor its current.
And those are the little clamps.
And from there, and that'll be set up, on your app, and so the gateway will be monitoring the current on your house load, and then on your actual solar, and that's how the gateway will be seeing what exactly the solar is doing.
Okay.
And it won't just be monitoring all of it at once. It'll have that solar separated. Right. So that it can see exactly what's being produced.
Right. But then that's all. Even the batteries. Is that on the utility side or the solar side? The way it's hooked up to the panel, or is it just itself powering the home?
Sorry. Say that one
Well,
time.
so when the batteries are hooked up. The batteries themselves then are primarily powering the home, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Correct.
So then you're in a situation where you'd actually be able to throw the switch to the utility, and the whole thing would island and still power the entire home.
Yeah, if it were to go like, let's say, a backup mode.
Right.
Yeah, and then as far as the solar is concerned, on the utility side, nothing's changed.
Okay.
We're basically just moving this breaker. From your main panel into your new panel.
Okay, gotcha.
Along with all the other loads.
Okay, gotcha.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
And in order to separate that, that's why we put a separate CTs on the solar breaker, so we can separate and know exactly what that is producing.
Right, and then that's where we get to do that that fun breaker that we talked about putting the feed in from the utility to the battery system. That we can do that single 240 volt. Is that what we're able to do there?
Yeah, you're going to tie into the batteries. Are going to tie into it. So yeah, so you'll have the, our back feed current will be the max. So right now you're got a max of the 200. So you'd be tying into there. So we'd look at your back feed of your solar.
Right.
And then each battery is 30 amps.
Right.
So we'd have to add those up.
Right.
And that's how much back feed current we'll have.
Perfect.
Tying in.
Perfect. All right. Well, that should be a lot of fun to see it all come together, and we'll bring these guys back once the system starts to get installed, and looking forward to it.
Looks good.
Yeah,
it's getting there.
Jared, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anything else you guys would like to say, or something maybe that we missed?
No, I don't have.
That about cover it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us for this real quick update and run through, and we're looking at. We've been told that Sunworks is getting an allocation of batteries from Tesla in August, and we're hoping that all of our batteries come in and we'll start to crank. About how long, once the batteries get in, is there any estimate as far as how long it takes to schedule a full install?
Just gotta get the full design, and
we'll have the design done prior to when the batteries get there. Once the batteries get there, they'll schedule it. We've been pretty much right on a few days.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So in August, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah, excellent.
So once we get the schedule on when the batteries be delivered, they can put that on the schedule to have it installed.
Great.
And then I'll get the designs done. We'll bring it out.
Great.
Get it all done.
We'll shoot for August. Take care.